The Idaho Vandal men get a home split, but it's one less win than Don Verlin believes his team should have had, while the Idaho Vandal women complete an improbable comeback and complete a sweep of their road trip. But the focus shifts to matchups with their rivals to the east in Montana and Montana State. Inside the Vandals, next. Hey, welcome into another week of Inside the Vandals. I'm your host, Tom Purvis, and I'm joined now by Vandals men's basketball coach, Don Verlin. Coach, thanks so much for being with us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well, you guys get a split at home. Let's start with that Northern Arizona game, the win over them. Of course, we have to talk about Vic Sanders. 33 points in the game for him, a full stat line. What did you like the most about his game?
Well, obviously he made a bunch of shots, and Vic played with a lot of energy, a lot of emotion that game, and I thought he was aggressive right from the onset, and Vic just played a good basketball game that night.
He also had 5 boards, 4 assists, 3 blocks, 3 steals. How nice is it when he scores that much but also has those peripheral stats?
Oh, it's great. Again, he played with a lot of energy, a lot of emotion. I thought with Perrion being out, he really stepped up and took the challenge and did a great job against Northern Arizona.
Besides his play, what else did you like about your team? Obviously being up as much as 25 at one point in that second half.
We played with a lot of energy. We played a little bit of a chip on our shoulder, and I thought we dictated the tempo of the game right from the start. For whatever reason, we were ready to go, and I thought we did a really good job of, again, dictating the tempo and being the most aggressive team.
Perrion Calendret not available in that game. First of all, what's his timetable? And second, were you happy with how your team responded with not having a big player in the lineup?
Well, Perrion's hurt his foot. We don't know the timetable. It's pretty much day to day at this point. We've heard anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks. So it just kind of depends on how his rehabilitation goes. And I was proud of our guys. We had to make some adjustments in our offense. I thought Pat Sanders came off the bench, hasn't played a lot of minutes, played very good, in a backup role, and played well on Saturday also.
Northern Arizona did go on a run. They cut it down to about 5 points, I think, but only 13 seconds left in the game, and you guys were up 18 with 3.5 to go. Would you have liked to see something different from your team there, or was it like, again, a big lead with 3.5 minutes to go for you guys?
No, you always want to finish the game, and we didn't execute very well the last 4 minutes of that basketball game. We didn't take care of our ball very well, and we've got to do a better job of that. You always want to finish basketball games, and we didn't finish the game the way we were supposed to on Thursday night. Against
Southern Utah on Saturday, obviously just a very heartbreaking overtime loss. What happened in that one?
We just didn't play very well. We weren't ready to go. Coaches and players got to do a better job getting prepared for a game like that. And we didn't play very well, and I thought they dictated the tempo of the game. They were the most aggressive team, and that's usually what happens in our game. Whoever's the most aggressive, whoever dictates the tempo of the game usually wins the game and gets all the calls, and that's what happened in that basketball game.
You did mention in the post game that you thought that they did play harder than you guys. How did you address your team after the game in terms of that? I mean, is that kind of probably one of the most disappointing things as a head coach?
Well, I think honesty is the best policy, and that's what I told them. I think the one thing the guys know about me is one of my best attributes and probably one of my worst attributes is I'm blunt, and I told them exactly how I felt. They knew. They're a good group of guys. They're smart. They're passionate about what they're doing. They knew, and they'll do better the next time out.
In overtime, Vic Sanders, he fouled out. You guys were up 3 at the point that he fouled out. How big of an impact did that play at that point in the game?
That was huge because Vic had played so well, and he just hit that big 3, and then to get a push-off call. What hurt us in that game is Vic had some silly fouls in that basketball game. Should have never been in that foul predicament that he was at that point in the game.
Chad Sherwood had a chance to tie the game at the end with those 3 free throws, and he missed the front end of that one. Did you talk to him at all after the game? How was he doing?
Well, no, I didn't talk to him after the game. You can't worry about the things you can't control. I mean, he shot the ball well. He went through his process. He went through his routine. He just missed him. And the last one he was trying to miss so he could get a tip on the last play. But I thought he shot the first one good. It just went in and out. As coaches, I took some positive out of that because we executed the play the way we wanted to. We just didn't, finish the game or finish those free throws, but that's the way it goes.
Previous to this game, you guys had been 5-0 in games decided by 5 points or less. Despite the tough loss, what has made your team good in those close games?
Well, we're a pretty good free throw shooting team. I think in conference play we're shooting about 77%, and usually that's the key to winning close games is making your free free throws, especially in crunch time.
He's Vandals head coach Don Verlin right there. We're going to take a break, but when we're back, we'll look ahead as the Vandals will go on the road to play Montana and Montana State. We'll also have the Chris Sarbos story, the Spokane native. It took him a while, but he is finally a Vandal. We're back after this.